If I only ever knew I'm trapped in my mind and trapped in the zoo. Ooh, if I only ever knew. And so are you.
Anyway, so we're sitting in this guy's lounge room. I've just got off the plane. He's like, hey, why don't we have a little jam just to see if you guys feel the vibes? I'm like, all right, let's do it. And he's like, why don't we do it on the rooftop and film it? I'm like, okay. So literally, we climbed up to the top of that roof. I'd only been in the country a few hours. We set up all the stuff. We realized the sun was finally starting to set at this point. We're like, all right, shit, let's just do it. Hit record, first take, that's that tune.
We are all chosen. We are all golden. All right. We are all chosen. You know, we are all golden. One more time. We are all chosen.
Let's bring it back to basics. Let's bring it back to basics.
Benjamin Stanford A.K.A. DubFX first gained attention from his street performing exploits across Europe in 2006. His unique style and performances center around live voice looping. The Australian-born musician has fine-tuned his sound over the years, with his most recent album Thinking Clear perfectly encapsulating the sound of this self-professed genreless star.
My career, I guess you could say, really kicked off through social media. Before that, when I was just street performing, from 2006 to 2009, I was pretty much just street performing. I sold like about 100,000 records on the streets in that time anyway, so I was doing pretty well, you know, nothing to sniff at. I was living in a van and I was kind of happy with that. My whole idea and my whole philosophy was to just travel, making music that I liked and just to push myself and challenge myself musically. You know, and because I was by myself and I had this new kind of technology, the loop station and all that stuff, and I wasn't much of a beatboxer growing up. It was something that I picked up along the way and just added to my arsenal with things. And so I was just trying to experiment and travel and do lots of different things.
Let's bring it back to basics. Let's bring it back to basics now. Let's bring it back to basics. Let's bring it back to basics now. Bring it back to basics now. Bring it back to basics. Yeah. Kato, bring it back, man. Woo!
By 2009, I found my sound, and then it was the perfect time. You know, YouTube and Facebook were just coming on the scene around that time. And all these people started filming me and put it on YouTube and Facebook and sharing it around. And it was, you know, because it was a new world for social media, people were more sharey than they are these days, you know. And I guess a lot of people had already bought my CD in the street around Europe and they were waiting for a video to pop up so they could share it. So if I hadn't have done all the street performing, I don't think I would have gone viral because I needed some kind of foundation. I planted my roots deep into the street performing scene, and then the social media came along and just times that by 100, you know?
Oh no, here I go, jamming to the rhythm, riding on loops I create while singing. I'm funk slinging, noise pollution killing, coming up with new ways to dance on the ceiling, showing everything can be achieved if you want it. Do it every day, even when they say stop it. Take a funky beat to the street and drop it. But it's okay if you just wanna blog it.
And then Facebook comes along and YouTube comes along, and you don't even need a record label or a publicist, because if you've got enough fans, if you collect enough fans like I did organically on the street, you've got 600,000 people that want to know what you're up to. If I put out a record today and I could send it to every 600,000, or I could be a millionaire overnight, but I can't because the algorithms in there have stopped me from being able to do that. I remember that changed around 2012.
Here we come with the roughest and toughest high grades. Sent Emilia pumper to our lungs and veins. Never gonna stop to the end of our days. Setting up sound systems with bass for your face. Console shooting out frequency, full of loops and beats and symmetry.
I always said to myself when I started writing music that if I'm gonna ever have a platform to say things to a lot of people, then I'm gonna say something that matters to me.
If I only ever knew I'm trapped in my mind and trapped in the zoo. Ooh, if I only ever knew, no. So you, ooh, if we only ever knew we're trapped in our minds and trapped in the zoo. Ooh, if we only ever knew, no.
I feel like there's a lot of negative, ignorant music out there. It's really easy to use ignorance and negativity to sound cool in a lot of music, especially in all that mumble trap and, hip hop a lot of the time and grime as well. And it's a scapegoat to sound cool. And I feel like I don't really listen to lyrics generally when I listen to music anyway, so I can't really reference myself to other people that much. Except for like people like Bob Marley, I guess. You know, I feel like self-empowering music and healing music, that's kind of what inspired me to start making music, and so that's why I make that kind of stuff. I guess, you know, I point my flashlight at things that I see in society, but, you know, I think that's the role of an artist. I've heard a lot of different artists say that, and I totally agree that it's our job to reflect the times, but not from the most obvious standpoint, you know, from a perspective that you might not have already checked out, you know?
I gotta go soon, so I make it clear. Coming up to the final frontier. Babylon pushing on all of that fear. So let's get all that what we got here. Everybody gather round, cause I got an idea. And maybe both and know, but it's clear. The zombie nation is approaching here. Hey, I'm walking through this fake paradise, a fake paradise, yeah.
Basically, I listen to lots of different genres. The funny thing with what I do is that a lot of people think that I'm a very original artist, but in my head, I don't feel like I'm that original at all, because all I'm doing is emulating genres and songs even that I really love with the tools that I have. So I could just totally, for example, take a Cypress Hill song, for example. I could try and just rebuild that song from everything, from the bass, the sound of the bass to the bass line, the sound of the drum beat to the actual beat, to the flow. And I'll never get it to sound exactly like that tune. In fact, most people wouldn't even know that I'm copying that tune because I've made it all with my mouth and with the pedals that I have at my feet.
I am lost in time. Slow down. You and music. It's in my head. It's in my head. Do you and you who say it's in my head.
I think it's really important that we definitely pay respect to the cultures that inspired us to do what we do, because the reality is this: most of the best soul music comes from black people or minority groups, people who have had hardship, slavery, or, you know, just colonialization, things like that. And white people have the privilege to be able to say, I want to be a musician with my life and have a career with that. Whereas most of the people, the cultures that came up with reggae music, African style music, all that sort of stuff, to them it was their one moment of solace. Like, they knew that was never going to be their career, or at least they probably thought it was never going to be their career. They just were going to feel like shit their whole lives. And so when they finally get a moment to express themselves with music, they create something absolutely beautiful.
I said I am, that I am, I am, I am, I am. Oh, I am, that I am, I am, I am, I am.
They don't have that privilege of being able to say, that's what I want to do with my life. It's just something that they have that opportunity to jump on a beat and rap something, oh, this is what I'll do. And that's why it comes across so pure and so soulful, because it's really true and to the point. Whereas white people don't really, you know, especially me coming from a middle class neighborhood in Australia, I had the choice. I could have done whatever I wanted with my life, really. You know, the cards are in my favor a lot of the time. So now I realize the privilege that I have. Like, you know, when I make music, it's not to make myself feel better, it's because I'm emulating all that soul, all that hardship. So now I make a real point to pay respect to that culture and to really honor it and to really show that I'm trying to take that idea and put my own flavor in there, and I don't want to cause any kind of harm or any kind of, you know, just don't want to piss anybody off, really, because I think it's really important to show respect in that way.
It's in my head. It's in my head. Do you want to see it? It's in my head. It's in my head. Do you want to see it?
I'm super down for jamming anyway. So we're sitting in this guy's lounge room. I've just got off the plane. He's like, hey, why don't we have a little jam just to see if you guys feel the vibes? I'm like, all right, let's do it. And he's like, why don't we do it on the rooftop and film it? I'm like, okay. So literally, we climbed up to the top of that roof. I'd only been in the country a few hours. We set up all the stuff. We realized the sun was finally starting to set at this point. We're like, all right, shit, let's just do it. Hit record, first take, that's that tune.
Rest for the wicked, it's just one life and we live it. There's no rest for the wicked. One life and we live it. There's no rest for the wicked. One life and we live it. There's no rest for the wicked. No one life and we live it.
So there's 3 different types of shows, I feel like. I mean, not necessarily 3 types of shows, but 3 types of feelings that I put into my shows. There's the street show, there's the club show, and there's the festival shows. On the street, it was a very different atmosphere. I was there, I was trying to promote my album, because that's how I was making my money, that's how I was living, hand to mouth, selling a CD. So I would draw people in, sing a song, try to blow their minds by doing this original song with conscious lyrics done in the moment by beatboxing and looping it and throwing all these effects together. And my plan was to just blow their minds and then be like, and you can buy my CD. And it worked. You know, that's why I sold 100,000 CDs in like 3 years. Maybe 4 years, I reckon it took me to do that. That was my plan then. Then in the club, it's different because people aren't on their way to work or on their lunch break, or you know what I mean? They're not shopping for something. They've come to have a good night. So my plan is to make people dance. So it's a very different feeling I throw in. I'm not trying to impress people and sell them something. I'm just trying to make them have it, you know? And at a festival, it's got a combination of the two, because there are people walking to that stage or coming from another stage going somewhere else, and I've got to draw them in, I've got to blow their minds, and I've got to make them dance. So it's kind of like the ultimate combination of the 3.
Don't give up, we're gonna make it in the end. Don't give up, tell your neighbor, tell your friend. Alright, don't give up, whoa, whoa, we're gonna make it in the end. Alright, so don't give up.